boys? Welcome back to the Top Rope Commentary Podcast. This is what, number three? Four?
Yeah.
Something like that? Three. Number
Yeah,
three.
Definitely three.
This is also the last time we're going to have this mic quality. We're going to have a
We're
nice little improvement soon.
upgrading, definitely upping it up. As we get closer and closer towards like the end of the year, I mean, we're almost at the 100 subscriber mark too. So
We are. That's going to be awesome.
Really appreciate all the support. All of you have been like tuning into Universe Mode and even with us as we kind of explore some more content to kind of put up and put on the channel. I mean, Sage with his unboxing videos, and then us kind of doing go also on TikTok Top Rope Commentary for we did the Guess the Wrestler in 60 seconds.
Yes, I actually have to edit the rest of it, which I will be doing because I just got cap cut on my phone, so it'll be a lot easier to do. But yeah, no, it's going to be a really good time expanding the channel, and yeah, like you said, we greatly appreciate all of the support.
Yeah, we're gonna try to think of potentially something like special do once we reach that 100 subscriber mark. We might actually try to get our universe
rookies.
our universe rookies live in living color.
Yeah, that being said, we have this is a fantasy booking episode.
This really is like
because we're fantasy booking two separate scenarios.
I mean, with the recent news of Shinsuke Nakamura like wrestling in Muda's like last like retirement tour, and a lot of like Forbidden Door stuff is being like brought up again. Why not fantasy book some stuff out, especially if this ongoing relationship? I mean, I'm pretty sure you've probably seen the memes of the Minoru Suzuki and Sheamus for also that Pro Wrestling Noise.
Such a banger.
It'd be just showing fan interest in that like spurs like and from reports too, like Pro Wrestling Noah and like their budding relationship with like New Japan and like All Elite, like they crossed all party lines, all parties signed off on it, and Shinsuke was actually the one that initially pushed for that. So I mean,
so fun fact, just to throw this out there, next week will probably be the Crown Jewel review episode, I think.
Yeah.
Did you hear Jake Paul's gonna be there?
If they honestly, the Paul brothers as a tag team, I'm kind of there for it.
I'm not.
I know I'm kind of there, especially Logan coming into it and the story you're telling of Logan kind of taking his lumps where he does. And, he's still winning, but also he's learning like, yo, this isn't what I kind of thought it was. And for Jake just to come in as just that hothead loudmouth of just like, I beat Anderson Silva. I'm undefeated, and like for him to basically be the one that gets Logan in so much more trouble.
So my issue though would be Jake. So Logan seems to be perfectly okay with him looking like an idiot at times. Like he'll take a beating. He's probably losing at Crown Jewel. Like I'd be very shocked.
He'll have a good showing though.
Yeah,
I feel like he'll do some surprising things where it's just like, yo, you almost had us.
Jake Paul's not going to be okay with losing though.
No,
his personality is.
I think that's his personality for.
So it's gonna be
for
like,
what he's projecting himself as now. I think if like coming into like knowing what pro wrestling is, I don't think it would hurt his ego that much to lose.
I think
in the setting of pro wrestling, I don't think it would. Like
he's fixed the. I'm convinced that fucking Silva fight was fixed.
I don't think it was necessarily like fixed. Seeing Silva's last recent fights, especially his last one in MMA versus like Adesanya, like he just fights a lot of like older guys that are just like really past their prime and kind of like their last few fights weren't very astounding and they kind of got pummeled in their last few fights. So I mean, he's kind of, and then they're all exhibitions, so he kind of has his pick of the lot. I don't really take him necessarily too serious in the boxing realm until he fights somebody ranked in like boxing, like even if it's like a number 15 and number 18,
that's the
until
thing,
he fights somebody like in a league.
Like at least Logan fought Mayweather.
Yeah, at least you can say that. I mean, even though Mayweather seemed like he was holding back on him, like
100%. I'm sure he was. Hell, I would.
But also Mayweather's smart enough.
I'd even settle for Jake fighting Pacquiao.
Jake doesn't want that. Pacquiao can still move. Pacquiao moves just as good as Mayweather does. If Mayweather was being lightweight with his brother who's bigger than him.
So if I got to choose any boxer to fight him, I'm picking my boy Canelo Alvarez.
I'm picking Devonte Davis.
Or Triple G.
Triple G would be
but Alvarez, he'd piece that boy up. he'd be running circles around
Or
Jake
Danny
Paul.
Garcia.
Yeah. Anyways, this is a wrestling podcast.
It's fantasy book.
So
But if they fantasy booked into a tag team.
So we have two separate scenarios that will each be fantasy booking. I've not thought prior out either one of them. However, I do have an idea.
I was gonna say, if you're not, I can go ahead and I can jump.
So the very first topic, I'll let you start it. It's going to be taking our favorite NXT or NXT UK guy, bring him to the main roster. How would you strap a rocket on them and have them win the WWE Universal Championship, or a world title? Whether if they split the titles in a perfect world, or if they keep them together. Mm-hmm. How would you have your favorite guy, which I assume for you is Carmelo Hayes, because it's favorite current NXT guy.
Favorite current NXT guy. It's definitely Carmelo Hayes. I mean, the man that don't miss, hanging jerseys in the rafters all through NXT. Yeah. I mean, so NXT, North American champion.
He dodged Snow and Dar, but that's besides the point.
Oh, wow.
You know.
That's because Dar's jersey would be in the rafter, too. I'm just saying.
You know what?
Foreign boys got their own sections.
Listen, I'm sure the Coffee Brothers thought that Dar's jersey would be up in their rafters, and it wasn't.
See, that was UK against UK. He ain't messed up. But we're talking about Melo here. So in my scenario, this is taking place through, so for mine, Melo wins the NXT championship. In mine, he goes through after Rumble. There's an NXT event. Braun Breaker debuts at the Royal Rumble. He joins the Royal Rumble. Melo's taking steam of the NXT banner. He holds that NXT banner till about WrestleMania, and then at that after Mania Raw, after Melo's dropped the belt at Stand and Deliver to whomever, I just think Melo should have an NXT championship run before he goes to the main roster.
I agree.
I think basically because it's gonna play in him it's gonna play into it because fast forwarding Melo's champion from Royal Rumble to Mania in NXT. He's NXT champion from Royal Rumble to Mania. Post Mania, he shows up on the Monday Night Raw, and he confronts the Nightmare. He confronts Cody Rhodes because that's who I'm thinking is walking out of Mania with the belt. He confronts Cody, talks his smack, talks his talk. He's the A champ coming to the A show, and he needs a championship over his shoulder. Okay. So you kind of you plant the seeds for Melo versus Cody, but essentially you have the Money in the Bank debacle. So essentially Melo gets bumped. He gets bumped, but not of his own volition, only just due to the circumstances that were there before him.
Okay.
So now he's kind of decking it out with a lot of the upper card guys, a lot of the main event guys. So he's having matches on Raw with Kevin Owens, AJ Styles, Finn Balor, Damian Priest. He's mixing it up with a lot of high level guys and inking away some wins until it goes to about. So he's doing this. He's racking up good wins. He gets a good strong pay-per-view win at SummerSlam. Let's say against heel. Let's just say against a heel Dolph Ziggler or something like that. Just he gets a strong SummerSlam win against a good foundational heel, and then he kind of goes on. He's talking. Melo consistently in his promos are bringing up how champions are dodging him. And the story that it's playing is that Melo's not, to us, we see it as Melo not necessarily being dodged as people reaching in front of him and taking his opportunity. Mm-hmm. So this is all Melo just kind of, and you slowly, he's working that heel heat, but seeing him consistently be rejected his title opportunities that he should have had slowly is moving him towards the baby face.
Okay.
So as you're working that, you have him slowly transition to, heel from SummerSlam up until Survivor Series.
Okay.
Because Survivor Series, you have the traditional 5-on-5. You have the traditional 5-on-5 match. And they throw in, which I think should be a stipulation because it makes all the sense in the world. By now, the titles are split. Due to the Money in the Bank debacle, the titles are split.
Okay.
So, because basically they're also talking about bringing Money in the Bank back for WrestleMania. And if it is at WrestleMania, Theory and somebody else will have the Money in the Bank briefcases at the same time. But titles are split going into Survivor Series, and they're saying the winning Survivor Series team, those men will fight. Those men will basically have a fatal 5-way to decide who challenges at the Rumble.
Okay.
Like for the title of the specific brand. Melo pulls out a 3-1 comeback being a sole survivor. So basically, crowd's white hot on him. He hot. I deserve this. So Melo goes on next week, and you start to see him kind of rescind and start to have that, man, I was a sole survivor. I held it down. If it wasn't for us, we wouldn't even be doing this match. There should be no need for this match because I was the only one that was left standing. And brawl breaks out. They still have the fatal 5-way, but whoever is like the heel in the match leading up to the team basically steals the pin from Melo last second. Like, it'd be really cool if it was a Shinsuke Nakamura, like Kinshasa, straight to the face. Like, after Melo does the springboard kind of sit out leg drop, Kinshasa's him clean out the ring. Melo again, like up, fresh, and like smacking the ring apron, like throwing like steel steps, like beside himself. Like, doesn't understand how he's been on the main roster now for almost a year and has not replicated the success he's had in NXT. Mm-hmm. He hasn't held a title. He hasn't held up to his reputation for being the A champ, and it's starting to get to him.
He's missed.
Basically, he feels like he's always missed. So now he basically takes what was supposed to be like the build. So like that December, he disappears for that month. Like basically like no vignettes, like Melo just like disappears cold, and like people are like bringing him up for like the first week. People were just like, yo, you see Melo? Like, now I haven't seen him since like last week. And then, in the promos, they're like, irrelevant, regardless, like he lost, whatever, found out he couldn't cut it. Maybe he's getting his ticket back down to Florida to go back down in NXT until Royal Rumble 2024. And you have Carmelo Hayes win the Royal Rumble.
Okay.
You have him start at number 1 and go to 30. You have him show up as number 1, and basically as he's walking to the ring, like he's just like not even listening to his own music. He has just headphones on, hoodie up, beelining into the ring. Like Melo at this point is about nothing but business. Like he has made it a point he will not miss again.
Okay.
So basically his story is going from 1 to 30 and wins the whole thing. So next week on Raw, shows up, says, I put 29 other people's jerseys in the rafters just to show you all what it means to be the A superstar on the A show. And right now I got a guaranteed opportunity to be a champ. And like basically like white hot promo, delivers it. Whoever is champion at the time, which at this time I think it should be Seth. Because Seth, and then you build to Seth versus Carmelo Hayes at the Rumble, with Seth basically playing kind of more mind games. You call yourself a champ. I've been every champ. Like I basically kind of like exuberating like his like that godlike aura that only like Seth Rollins can like cockily can. So building the story of just kind of Melo really showing him for the first time as a potential underdog.
Okay.
Like in his matches, like he's like fighting with everything, like making sure he never like loses. Like he needs this opportunity. He wants this opportunity. And throughout the build and through like the B-level pay-per-views leading up to Mania, you just have Seth continuously like poking and prodding him and just kind of like, you could lose this opportunity. I could give this opportunity to somebody else. I could have a match on Monday. Like basically Seth continuously playing like mind games, trying to throw Melo off of his game. like showing up each week in different teams' jerseys, like Seth like matching like different suits to like the different home teams, making different type of like references to like different points in like his career, all leading up to WrestleMania in Philadelphia. Carmelo Hayes versus Seth Rollins, main event, night one. Give them 25 minutes and let the story bleed through of Seth pulling out every trick from his past, everything that he can think of, all the things through the past build from Rumble to Mania that Seth has done to Melo in the ring. You basically recreate those as spots, retelling the story of Melo watching film, get like he won't miss again. And you finish it with Melo hitting his finisher in the middle of the ring, hoisting the title above his head, pointing to the Titantron for Rollins' jersey to appear on the screen. Another jersey in the rafters.
Okay,
and
I like
confetti
that.
falls.
That's a pretty solid, pretty good booking. So I have a similar timeline of them winning the title at Mania in Philly. No significance to it being Philly. It's just the next Mania.
Yeah, just the next Mania. This one's Hollywood, which I'm interested to see the set.
So mine starts at this Royal Rumble coming up in January. Technically, it starts a little before that, and by that I mean the night before NXT Takeover, whatever.
NXT Takeover Rumble. Takeover San Antonio.
Whatever the Rumble.
We'll just call it Takeover San Antonio because that's where, or Takeover Houston. That's where it's at.
Yeah, whatever special it is going to be, and you do Braun Breaker, Ilya Dragunov. Dragunov wins the title.
Braun Breaker,
yeah. Breaker can go up; it doesn't matter.
Dog feet screaming.
You then move at the Royal Rumble. You do Walter versus Drew McIntyre in the opening match for the Intercontinental title. Because I can't think of who else Walter is going to possibly face, and I think that would be a very good match.
He can face this generation's Eddie Guerrero and Dominic Mysterio.
Listen, Eddie Guerrero was his generation's Dominic Mysterio. All
Pretty
right?
boy Dom. Oh,
but Drew McIntyre wins the Intercontinental title. I think you transition that into, like, that's a whole separate thing, but Woods versus McIntyre at Mania would be great. Now, you take Walter, who just lost, goes into the Rumble, wins the Rumble.
Like same night, like he pulls like a Brock almost, and just kind of like, ooh, that would be cool. Like he comes out and just chops somebody in the entrance, chops like Madcap Moss at like 23 and takes a spot.
Yeah, so he goes in there, wins the Rumble. We get Roman Reigns versus Walter, main event of WrestleMania. Walter wins. Because I think that is a great way to just... Walter's a beast. He just ended this reign of Roman. It's awesome. Now, that same night that Walter wins, Ilya Dragunov loses the NXT title. You can do it against Noam Dar. You can do it against JD McDonough. I think McDonough would probably be the better story for that match. But for the sake of this argument, we're going to do Noam Dar wins the NXT title, so that you're kind of introducing him to the like more
bigger,
casual audience, because he's an NXT UK guy. It's going to be a little bit harder. Now, Dragunov goes up the night after Mania. The very first person he goes after is Walter. They have a long history against each other. They always put on bangers. And it's Ilya fucking Dragunov. He shows up somewhere, you put him against the world champion. Like, that's how good the guy is.
I feel like Ilya would have like, I feel like Ilya is the person that can go after a main title, but you also need to show people why he could, like, so like his first match on like Raw or SmackDown should be against somebody like Sheamus. Yeah, like, it should be against somebody that's like another, or like a Nakamura.
He'll go against those other people, but like the first like feud is going to be against Walter. Now, he doesn't win the title right away. He won't to go to SummerSlam. He wins the title at SummerSlam, and we get
SummerSlam
Walter
this year or next year?
Next year.
Next year SummerSlam. So you said Walter wins at Mania,
Yeah, holds it till SummerSlam,
holds it till SummerSlam.
and then Dragunov wins.
So this SummerSlam.
Yeah, I'm talking fucking. You're skyrocketing Dragunov here, I know, but he's Ilya Dragunov. Now, at some point between then and there, Noam Dar debuts on the main roster. He's lost the NXT title, and he's going for the Intercontinental title. You kind of like want to slow build Dar here.
So between
Right.
August and the end of the year, that's when you got
kind of that general area. He debuts somewhere around there, faces Drew McIntyre or Xavier Woods, preferably Woods. I think their styles might mix a little bit better.
Yeah,
because Dar's he's more of like a technical guy, and Woods can go in the ring technical. Now, have him win the Intercontinental title. He doesn't have to hold it long. Could put it back on Woods if you want to, or if you want to put it. I think the Intercontinental title needs to be the title that's used to bring in these newer like NXT guys and give them the opportunity to showcase what they can do instead of meaningless feuds with Dolph Ziggler.
It's funny that you say that you think that's the IC belt, because I think that's what the US belt should be. I think the US belt should be like
a mid card.
Like I think because I think the IC belt should be somebody that you're just like, okay, like
here's good matches.
Like, well, I mean, like, yeah, like here's good matches. Like his promos might not be, but like here's some solid matches, and we're really thinking about making this guy the next like world. Like,
yeah.
So we're really seeing how he can hold it.
Well,
down.
You know what? That works for Noam Dar in this situation. I mean, he's a young guy. Same with like they're like 6 months apart. They're very close.
Dar's
in age.
Dar's.
He's 29.
Oh, he's 29.
Yeah, Hayes is 28.
Okay.
I googled it already. So having like feud for the Intercontinental title with like McIntyre or Woods, he wins it. You could put him in feuds leading up to SummerSlam with guys like like Xavier Woods, like Drew McIntyre, like Carmelo Hayes, like Walter, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, anybody. And he's gonna put on bangers. Yeah, because Noam Dar, incredible in the ring. I think the perfect SummerSlam opponent in this situation for Noam Dar is Carmelo Hayes, because they can build off of the you were essentially the heart and soul of NXT during the pandemic. I was the heart and soul of NXT UK during the pandemic. Like, I mean, they both held that shit down, and they're gonna put on a banger of a match. And at SummerSlam, Carmelo Hayes wins, not clean, because it wouldn't make sense to build him up and have him lose clean.
Putting jerseys around, no matter how it's done, it's getting up there.
Yeah, like Trick Williams sucker punches him, something like that. So you continue to kind of have this like story with Noam Dar where it's obviously not perfectly. I haven't, like I said, I haven't thought fully ahead here, but leading up to the Rumble from SummerSlam, you want to sort of have Dar doubting himself, but still like he's able to get it done, but like barely. Going to the Rumble, and he loses the Royal Rumble, but he goes from 1 to 29.
So he gets eliminated
He gets eliminated right at the end. He pulls the Randy Orton spot and gets eliminated right at the end of the Rumble.
And my work here is done.
Yeah. And I think the perfect person to eliminate him in this situation is Walter. And Walter wins the Rumble 2 years in a row. And at WrestleMania, it's scheduled as Walter versus Ilya Dragunov. Right? Because let's be honest, that'd be a banger of a main event. But Noam Dar pulls the Randy Orton this time, and he gets himself inserted in that match, and you do a triple threat. I'm only saying this because this is a match I wanted in NXT UK, because we never got Walter versus Dar in a one-on-one match. We got Dar versus Dragunov one time. We never got Walter versus Dar. I say at Fastlane, you do Walter versus Dar. If Dar wins, he's inserted in the match. He doesn't pin him, though, because I feel like Walter, you want to like limit the pins.
Mm-hmm.
But he wins. Like, it could be count out. It could be Walter gets himself DQ'd because he doesn't view Dar as a threat. Whatever. Triple threat. Main event of WrestleMania 40. Noam Dar wins with the champagne super knee bar in a hardcore crowd that is actually going to appreciate a guy like Dar winning. I think, and that's Philly's kind of like the reason
Philly's a good crowd, but they're also a smart crowd. Like Philly will root for the heel, but then Philly is also like if you give them good stuff, they will.
Well, here's the thing: is because all three of these guys, Philly's gonna love if they win. There's there's no situation in which they're not gonna love it. They all can do the hard hitting style. They all can do like a technical style. And I say you give them like 30 minutes, have them just put on a banger of a match. Noam Dar pulls off the win, and it kind of like is the culmination of him doubting himself, is that he finally pulls off the big one. I say he probably taps out Dragunov because I doubt they have Walter tap out. But yeah, that's how I do it.
I mean, and that would be like the first like full European like main event.
Yeah, that too. But yeah, that's how I was sitting there. I'm like, man, like there's, I didn't think ahead. Because realistically, I don't see Dar winning a world title in WWE. Because they won't even fucking put him on NXT for some reason.
I don't know. He might just come back super jacked. I mean, Tyler Bate hasn't been back on TV, which, although I think Tyler Bate is going to main. I think he's going to debut at the Rumble.
You remember when Dar got injured while he was in the cruiserweights and he came back to the NXT UK tournament and he was fucking jacked?
I think that's what it is. Sometimes like they just go away for.
He's not injured though. That's the thing. He's the Heritage Cup holder.
But they don't really even. I think they had like one Heritage Cup match on NXT.
Yeah, no, it wasn't even a Heritage Cup match. It was just a rounds match. They did the rounds match with Wesley and Trick Williams.
Oh no, I thought they actually had like UK on there. Like
they might have, and I just don't remember. But you know what? I say we jump into the next topic.
Yeah, because Survivor Series is slowly approaching. Well, Survivor Series War Games.
This will be coming out after Crown Jewel, which means that Survivor Series is the next pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's on the horizon.
And there's a lot of talk on like how would you like War Games?
Yeah, they're bringing back War Games, and I've been itching for this on the main roster for so long.
Oh yeah, ever since at least the first NXT War Games match, I've been wanting this.
For my boys, the New Day to finally like
get a War Games.
Yeah, to get a war, because I think they should be in it. If they are not in it, it is a missed opportunity.
I mean, it's Big E.
I mean, I feel like E could be back in time, and I feel like E could do like he doesn't have to do, especially. So let's go ahead and
yes. So essentially, the topic is how would we book War Games? Keep in mind there are 2 War Games matches.
There's a men's and a women's.
Yes.
Triple H has clarified that there are both. Now, the only thing that we're kind of a little bit unsure of is if it'll be like first War Games or previous War Games. I'm pretty sure they're kind of leaning more to previous War Games where it's just 2 teams instead of 3.
Yeah, so my booking is 3 teams.
I think my booking, I'm going to keep
at least for the men. My booking for the men is 3 teams. My booking for the women is 2.
I'm going to keep it to 2 and 2 because after just like recent events, because I think
so 2 teams of 4?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I did 3 teams of 3. So, yeah.
So, I mean, did you already have your team picked out and everything?
For the men, yeah. So, the way I would do this, recently we've seen Sheamus get injured by Jimmy and Jay and Sammy.
Usi boys.
Yeah. No, Jay's not Usi, but...
He's been, they went to Waffle House. He's been Usi. He's been Usi.
So, essentially, I would sort of build off of that, which I feel like they're going to.
Oh.
And you bring the Brawling Brutes in, who have been feuding a lot recently
Sheamus
with a certain little Imperium. And you want to sort of... It's so hard to, like, figure out how... Because I haven't... Like I said, I haven't thought out details. I didn't plan for this podcast today. But I would do essentially, like, say the Usos go after Imperium, Fabian Aichner, and Marcel Bartel.
I mean, Giovanni Vinci.
That's his name. And Ludwig Kaiser. And I would have them, like, sort of go after them. And then you could do like on a random SmackDown, the Usos versus Imperium for the tag titles. You get the Usos win. because they're not losing the belts until Sammy and Owens take them off of them. And I would do, yeah, have Butch and Ridge interfere in that and attack the Usos. Sort of this way, you're bringing all three teams together.
Yeah.
And Walter's not, he's doing his thing. Here's the thing though for the War Games, because the Bloodline's got like fucking 25,000 members at this point.
He said 20. It's only 5.
Listen, Roman's got like 50 kids. All right, like
just leads the man to his table. He just likes a long table. He needs people to fill the table.
The 3 members of the Bloodline I would choose for this match: Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, Roman Reigns.
So yeah, just leaving out Jimmy and Solo.
I'm leaving out Jimmy and Solo because right now the main story of the Bloodline
is with those 3.
Is with those 3, because I'm going to use this as a time that or as a reason that Roman kicks Jey out of the Bloodline, because Jey is going to cost them the win.
Ooh, you know what would be a good build to it too is that Solo is challenging for another title on the card, so he can't be in the match. Like just like he's in like a fatal 4-way, triple threat, one on whatever. And you got the Usos like warming up, and then just like Brawling Brutes or whoever it is come with Shillelagh, whatever, smash is like need a smithereens or something like that.
Who, Solo?
No, Jimmy.
Oh.
So basically take like it was originally going to be the Usos and Sami Zayn, and now Roman has to step in because Solo can't do the double duty. So Roman, or basically have it be like Sami stepped in, and it was gonna originally just be Roman and the Usos.
Yeah. See, I think that'd be the way I do it. Or Roman basically says like, you guys are gonna get along, you're gonna work together, or one of you's gone. And he inserts himself in the match to make sure the Bloodline gets the job done, because he doesn't have faith in the Usos getting it done, or in Jey and Sami fully
holding together long enough.
I'd probably have the Imperium win this, with Walter pinning Jey after Jey like super kick Sami or something like that.
Basically, like a mist. Like there was like Ludwig Kaiser like is basically like Sammy's holding up Ludwig Kaiser for a super kick by Jey. Ludwig moves. Jey super kicks Sami. Ludwig scoops him up, turns around to Eichner, European bomb. Walter picks him up. Last big plunge.
Yep.
Ludwig Kaiser and Fabian Eichner dive on Roman to keep him from breaking up the pin.
Yep. Sheamus and the Brawling Brutes are over in the other ring.
Yeah, just kind of spattered out. They're through tables and into trash cans or whatever.
So basically, and then I'd have Jey takes the pin. Roman's pissed. Roman kicks Jey out of the Bloodline, which leads to Jey being the one to bring The Rock back. And you do The Rock versus Roman for the head of the table. As for the women, it seems pretty obvious, but Damage Control versus Bianca, Alexa,
and
Asuka. But just for fun, I would add somebody to Damage Control, probably a Tegan Knox, because of her history with Dakota, being Team Fly Kicks.
But also her history with Dakota.
listen. If Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa can become friends again, then anybody can. All right. Listen.
I say Indy Hartwell.
Indy would be great, but yes, Indy, because the other person I had joining the Bianca team is Candice. So mother versus daughter.
I don't know, because Indy, like on NXT, she's been
kind of heelish.
Yeah, she's been healing it up.
Yeah. So Indy Hartwell joining Damage Control would be awesome. It'd give Indy a chance to show her personality a little bit more. It would give Damage Control a chance to be, show a little bit more of the comedic side, because Indy's great at that.
Yeah.
And that's probably, that's how I do it. And then Damage Control wins, with Indy getting the pin on Candice. So I think that'd be chef's kiss.
For my War Games, you gotta. If it's gonna be War Games, if it's gonna be the first one on the main roster, I say there's none better to do with than New Day versus Bloodline. Basically, you kind of they're already talking about the story now, and this will be coming out after Crown Jewel, so this will be after this week's SmackDown. So this week's SmackDown, they brought up like the New Day brings up audibly about how the Usos are so close to breaking their like longest title reign in WWE history, and that they're gonna be there waiting on them to basically stop them and protect theirs. So you have that match go down, and you basically have Sammy doing what he does, Solo like interfering, but then like they cheat to win, and they're about to beat down they're about to beat down the New Day some more. It's the Usos, it's Sammy, it's Solo, it's the whole like bloodline minus Roman, and then all of a sudden you hear just that. Well, y'all want to go big? Then say that. And then, like, basically, Big E comes sprinting down the ramp, steel chair in hand, about to lay waste, clear out everybody. Solo comes out, charges at him. Big E, big steel chair to the stomach, big steel chair across his back. Like, he goes in the ring. The rest of them kind of scatter out, returns to a nice big pop, smacking the chair around, telling them to come back in. They think they can get the New Day while they're down, but now the New Day is back to full power and basically, starts to get that way towards Survivor Series. And he is also saying that, I never got my chance back at Brock for my title, and Roman, you holding my title, so I'm gonna need that up off you. like basically E doing good E promo things. Big meat and men slapping meat, like E doing E things. And so you build that story up, and basically they're always, outnumbered by one. So now you're going down to Survivor Series. And basically, if coming out of Survivor Series, they're just gonna making the story of for Roman's challenger at the Rumble being if New Day wins, a member of New Day gets to challenge Roman at the Rumble for his title. Since Kofi is also a former champ, all leading up to Woods versus Roman, since Woods, in that lead up, Woods can bring up, yeah, I pinned you. When everybody said you didn't get pinned, it was this face. and I mean, Woods can lose that Rumble, but I just like Woods to have that moment in that crowd, like it would be a great match. But back to Survivor Series. So now you got 3 members of New Day, consistently trying to, Sami Zayn's being underhanded, chop blocking, Solo's just kind of being like big and powerful, and they're normally used to kind of how the Usos roll. But come War Games, they said, you think we didn't find an extra partner, and through the weeks you leave red herrings leading up that it's R-Truth, essentially. Like, basically like them saying like you guys can't handle the truth of what we're gonna like get, basically like alluding all to like truth leading up to it.
That'd be a very interesting choice.
And then basically it gets in Sammy's head that Sammy's just like, I know who it is. Like I know who it is. So Sammy goes and attacks R-Truth that night. And Sammy's like, it's all right. It was R-Truth, wasn't it? Done. Finito. Gone. So go ahead. Like, pick whoever you want. And then it's just like, it wasn't Truth, but we'll get you for that too. And then basically you just hear the, oh my God, it's Tyler. And then Tyler Breeze shows up as the 4th member.
Automatically support this.
As the 4th member to help New Day against the Bloodline. And basically, New Day wins. And the next week on SmackDown, they give Xavier Woods the opportunity to go against Roman.
I gotta find out where Survivor Series is this year.
It's Houston or San Antonio. I know for certain it's in Texas.
The Rumble is, I know it.
Yeah, the Mania is in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Survivor Series?
Survivor Series 2022 is in
Fort Worth?
Boston, Massachusetts. Tyler Breeze will get a good reaction.
Oh yeah, it's close enough to Canada. But then also, I think just
I meant more because Boston's a smart town.
I mean, but Boston's also Kofi's hometown. But then also just the bond that him and Woods have, having Woods lead it up and like seeing them basically like they could do some tag team moves to get like seeing them two in the ring.
Kofi's from South Africa.
He's originally, but he was he was born and raised in Boston.
He was born in Ghana, raised in
Boston.
Boston. Okay.
That's why he's a big Patriots fan and like yeah.
Well, he should be a Patriots fan, the greatest team going today.
And he still has a losing record to one team in the NFL.
Yeah, well, Drew Brees cheats. Anyway,
What? Deflate gate much. All right.
that was all a conspiracy that was paid for by the Drew Brees Foundation.
This is the pro wrestling. I will not go against this slander.
Listen, you know what? Technically, NFL is related to pro wrestling because Halftime Heat and Gronk.
I mean, but we see both of those didn't last long.
Gronk is the longest reigning 24/7 champion of all time, I'm pretty sure.
Don't disrespect our truth like that. I think our truth is.
I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna Google.
I'm pretty like cause our truth held it. He held it for like a week against Drake Maverick or something.
Gronk held it for months.
Did he?
Yeah.
Was it that time where they just weren't defending it?
Yeah. So the longest reign is Reggie, 112 days.
Okay, that makes sense though.
The shortest reign, 4 seconds.
Who is it?
Tucker. Pat Patterson is the oldest champion.
Okay, I remember when he won it.
The youngest champion is Bad Bunny, who was 26, almost 27. Kind of crazy. Nobody younger than 26 has held it.
That's kind of crazy.
The lightest champion is Alexa Bliss at 100. She's 102 pounds. That's a tiny gal. The heaviest champion is the Revival because it puts them together. They held it as a team.
They should have never lost it then.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah, but that's for the men's.
Well, if I may add real quick, you mentioned Big E coming back to a big pop. You know the best way to do that is they're beating down Kofi and Xavier. I know you said that like, oh, you want to go big. Instead, WWE Universe.
I think he should save that for War Games though. I think like he should save that for when they're all like.
Just think of the pop. Think of the pop.
The pop when
if you do it in like Chicago,
it's gonna be a Road Warrior pop.
If you do it in like Chicago or something like that, that is a smart crowd. No, not Chicago. Fuck Chicago. They're gonna do CM Punk chants.
They should do MSG. New York.
Yeah. So MSG is
or Florida crowds. If it's Big E, any Florida crowd.
I think any crowd really.
Yeah, he gets a good reception anywhere he goes.
But like, man, just that pop would be.
It's gonna be a Road Warrior-esque pop.
Speaking, I this is not related. Did you happen to see a certain boom return?
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, I popped so hard.
When it was just, I honestly half second thought it was gonna be Jordan Grace. But I was just like, I don't think she's won the ROH woman's like.
Why would she face Chris Jericho?
Because he said it doesn't matter what champ, and he said women's champ like in both promos. So I was like, funny. Are they gonna? Is Chris? But
she's like she was the only ROH women's title.
But I was like she like ROH TV or something. I was like, no, I don't think she's ever. Boom, Colt Cabana.
I was so happy.
But now we're jumping to the women's side. So the women's side, like I admit, like I think it's gonna be Damage Control and Bianca, Alexa, and Asuka. Mm-hmm. However, I think Alexa and Asuka should get jumped again. Like,
so it's just Bianca versus Damage Control and War Games?
No. Because Bianca said, like, they don't think she got friends, don't think she got homies. Like, it should be to a point where, like, Bianca now has, like, we should slowly be planting the seeds for a Bianca heel turn. Like, she slowly starts to get more, like, serious. So, like, in the build-up from now until Survivor Series, she's in just, like, go mode. Like, she's, like, taking, like, no flack, no issues, no nothing. She's just like, I'm tired of Bayley, tired of Damage Control. Like, I'm ready to put them out by whatever means, like, necessary. Like, Like, I'm done with damage. After Survivor Series, I want to be done with damage control. And basically, slowly but surely, starts to see Asuka and Alexa as like weak links. Like, she's coming out to the rescue to like save them.
Okay.
And you have Asuka and Alexa mysteriously wind up beaten up before Bianca's match.
Naturally.
But they don't know who did it, but all signs are pointing to damage control. So Bianca's like, it's all right. It's all right. I had to make a couple phone calls beforehand, but trust me, I found people just in time. And it's Sasha Banks and Naomi. And they show back up and like basically like win. Like,
yeah.
Like, so now like and they're debating on doing winner take all. If it's winner take all, that like Bianca keeps her Raw Women's title. Sasha and Naomi pick back up those women's titles. But then you let a week go by on Raw. You let a week go by, and Bianca's like the week back. They're having a welcome back ceremony where like she's welcoming Sasha Banks, like she's welcoming Naomi back. It's all babyface. You might have another little one-off standoff with damage control, and then the next week you have a Asuka and Alexa Bliss show up and show the camera footage that it was Bianca that took them out. And Bianca basically confesses that she didn't think that they could get the job done, so she called in two people she knew could get it done.
So, one slight flaw, you might have addressed this and I just drew a blank. Damage Control's not the women's tag team champions right now.
They were talking about like since Bayley pinned Bianca, like going into War Games, if it's just those three, since Dakota and Io have already been previous tag team champions, doing basically like, oh, if all the champions are going to be on this side and we're going to be all the champions, winner take all. So essentially, just like
So say those two are taken out, Bliss and Asuka. It wouldn't make sense to do it.
But that's where Naomi and Sasha come in at, because they vacated the titles already. Like they were never pinned or beaten or anything like for the titles.
Yes, but they can't win the titles without beating the champions.
And that's where the story is.
Because
that's where the story is, because now you're just like, how are you guys the rightful champs when you guys set the titles down on the table, you guys walked away, been away for months, and now you want to come back and basically waltz back into another title? And that's where the heel heat comes in, because now they're with Bianca and she's supposed to be this babyface. She's supposed to be the EST, the strongest. Doesn't need to do anything like that, but she just took out former champions to call in her girls back in, and now you have this core of a faction.
But they're not former champions. They are champions.
Who are you talking about?
Bliss and Asuka are the women's tag team champions right now. So what I'm saying is, like, so say you take them out, if the WWE still has the women's tag titles on the line in that match, that would just be poor book.
It was a flop.
That's it. It's just assaulted for the audio listeners. Like, it would just not, like, it would feel like bad booking on their end, because it's like, okay, why are the titles on the line if the champions aren't in the match?
And that's the thing. The stipulation had already been like kind of like set before, so it's one of those where you press the moments. I mean, it's wrestling. They kayfabe the whole IC belt. They kayfabe the whole belt into existence, and I'm like, because also Naomi and Sasha, if they did come back, have legit points to be number one contenders. And they can also just bring up the points that, it took you guys basically 2 months to even decide champions after we left. Like, it took, like, you guys aren't even a fraction of what we are or what we were. Like, basically, and also you have the standoff where now you have this tag title match against, like, with 4 of these former, like, women's champions that also kind of just builds the prestige of those belts. And now you can have Asuka and Alexa Bliss at the next pay-per-view against Naomi and Sasha with Bianca in their corner. Bianca does some more underhanded things. Naomi and Sasha go over. And now you have Asuka and Bliss that can challenge individually Bianca for her title. And then, Bliss can go away. She can do small things with Bray. Asuka can go on and, have some one-on-ones with Io. Or
I think the best thing for Bliss is to stay away from Bray.
I think there's a lot there. There's a lot there you can farm.
Oh, 100%. Like, you can do good stuff. I just feel like, I don't know. I didn't enjoy her stuff with Bray before. I love Alexa Bliss. She's great 90% of the time. But I think the person, like, because I don't know if they're doing 2 women with Bray. And apparently, like, the number one person that they're teasing with Bray right now is Liv, which would be interesting. Like, I think it'd be great because I think Liv would go very well with it. But
I don't think this should. I think if this transition for Liv is gonna be a transition, I think it should just be her own. Like she
just is really into pain.
Well, not you. Like, basically through winning that belt, defending it, and then losing it in the way she did to Ronda and what she went through. Basically, herself realizing that she has to tap into that side of her in order to elevate back to where she was. Like, she has to accept the pain that she's gonna have to put her body through to get what she wants.
Yeah.
Because, like, her versus Nikki Cross in the Extreme Rules #1 contender match, I'd be excited to see that now. Especially if that's the story they would go with. Like, just 2 insane women throwing, like, everything they have at each other.
Throwing this out here. What if the long-term story here is Liv beating Ronda at Mania by fully putting her body on the line?
Hey, that would be a roundabout build. But we all know the inevitable is soon to arrive back in WWE.
Put her on Raw.
If you don't
Put
know
her on Raw.
If you don't know who the inevitable is,
watch
Universe. The inevitable, the Thanos of the women's division.
Put her on Raw. She does not need to be on SmackDown.
Oh, she's coming for the division.
Tired of Ronda versus Charlotte.
I mean, she's probably gonna go back to Raw because they're building the story of Bianca beating every horsewoman at Mania. They're slowly building it.
So then that means we're getting Bayley versus Bianca till Mania. In this situation, I'm tired.
But also, I mean, that's if Bianca doesn't lose it at like
or Crown Jewel.
Yeah, which is gonna be in the PC. I mean,
the prediction video was up 2 days ago.
Yeah, it was in the PC.
Yeah, because it was yesterday at the time of upload. This could be an interesting show, I think.
Oh, it's the way the card's shaping up. It is going to be fire. Well, since
one of us is doing the hot chip challenge.
Yeah, as soon as it's
that's the punishment for.
Is it? Do we? Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna order it as soon as. Yeah.
Oh, I'm devastated. Oh wow. I gotta look. That's gonna definitely highly decide my picks. That's definitely highly decide.
Yeah. But anyways, I say that's a good stopping point for the pod.
Yeah. So.
Thank you guys for watching.
Check back in with us for the Crown Jewel punishment video. Yeah. Also, Universe throughout the week. Monday Night Raw.
The Rumble will be up tonight.
Oh yeah, we're in Rumble week.
And the entire week will be parts of the Rumble because the Rumble is streaming, but it will not be uploaded as one part. Throughout the week, it will be uploaded as separate parts. So if you're watching it on tonight or Sunday, for those that are watching after the fact, it was live streamed to the YouTube channel.
So we're gonna try our best to be in those comments as much as we can, like depending on upload dates. But join us out the week, Rumble week. We got some really dope matches set up if you've been with us through Universe mode. So go back, binge watch some of those, and get ready for our Rumble week. Yep. And it turns your tongue blue too.
Oh yeah.
Woods and Liv just did this too, like on Up Up Down Down.
So I didn't do this one. I did
the one the year before. Yeah, I did the yellow box.
I did the yellow box on stream.
So we both done it before, like previous. So we have we at least aren't going into no experience as to what it is.
Yeah, but thank you guys for watching.
All right,
see you soon or listening.